Okay, let's unpack this one then. Today we're taking a deep dive into a place that really captures the imagination, Highgate Cemetery. We've sifted through quite a pile of stuff, articles, history books, travel guides, you name it. And basically, our mission is to pull out the most important bits, the key insights for you, give you a real shortcut to understanding this incredible London landmark.
Yeah, and what's so fascinating, I think, is how Highgate isn't just a burial ground. It's a Grade I listed historic park. I mean, that's a serious designation, nationally important for its architecture, its history, and it's a nature reserve, too. You've got over 170,000 stories there across something like 53,000 graves, which, it makes you ask, how did this unique mix, this blend of history and nature even happen?
Exactly. So get ready to explore what they called London's Victorian Valhalla with us. You'll discover why it's, well, far more than just a graveyard. Okay, so to really get Highgate, you've got to picture early 19th century London. The city was just exploding population-wise thanks to the Industrial Revolution, right? And the old inner-city church graveyards, they just couldn't cope. They were completely overwhelmed. Imagine the sheer chaos, the smell. One source actually described this foul-smelling reek of decomposing corpses hanging over parts of the city. Grim.
Oh, absolutely grim. And dangerous, people thought, or at least a serious health hazard. Remember, the miasma theory was big then.
Right, the idea that bad air spread disease.
Exactly. So this wasn't just unpleasant. It felt like a genuine public health crisis. It was totally unsustainable. So Parliament, they stepped in. And surprisingly, everyone agreed, unanimously apparently, to set up these 7 huge modern cemeteries outside central London. They became known as the Magnificent Seven. And the whole point was, to provide proper, dignified, sanitary burial spaces. And places that looked good, too, away from the crowded city center.
And Highgate was one of these big new projects. Had some really interesting people behind it. It was Stephen Geary. He was an architect, an entrepreneur. He actually set up the London Cemetery Company in 1836.
Right. And then there was James Bunstone Bunning, who was the surveyor for all 7, the whole Magnificent Seven plan.
But for Highgate specifically, you had David Ramsay, a big name in garden design. He was the one who created those amazing kind of exotic gardens and landscape grounds that really made Highgate stand out.
So Highgate's first bit, the part we now call the West Cemetery, it officially opened on May 26, 1839. Big ceremony, dedicated to St. James by the Lord Bishop of London. And the very first person buried there, Elizabeth Jackson, age 36, from Soho, Little Windmill Street.
And it took off, didn't it? Yeah. Highgate very quickly became the place, the fashionable place to be buried. Victorians had this whole elaborate thing about death, how you commemorate it.
Oh, absolutely. Memorials, mourning rituals, it was huge.
And Highgate totally tapped into that. All those incredible Neo-Gothic tombs, the grand buildings.
Yeah.
It earned that nickname, Victorian Valhalla, which really tells you something about how grand, how almost mythical it seemed back then. Okay, so if you go to Highgate today, it's not just one big area. It's actually split in 2, right?
Yep.
Separated by Swains Lane.
Yeah.
What's the key difference people need to know about these 2 sites?
Yeah, that's crucial. The West Cemetery is the original bit from 1839. And that side is really known for its more elaborate tombs, the winding paths on the hillsides, these amazing vaults. You've got the really iconic stuff there, Grade I listed features like the Egyptian Avenue, this incredible grand entrance, feels very ancient Egypt.
Wow.
And the Circle of Lebanon. Tombs arranged around this huge cedar tree. Well, the original tree had to be replaced in 2019, but the structure is still there, very atmospheric. And the really important thing for visitors, the west side is more overgrown, deliberately so, and you can only visit it on a guided tour.
Oh, okay. So that preserves the atmosphere.
Exactly. Preserves the atmosphere, protects the structures. It keeps that unique, slightly wild feel.
Right. So you do the tour in the west, and then there's the East Cemetery. That came later.
Yep, the cemetery was an extension, opened in 1860. First burial there was a Marianne Webster. It was designed, well, frankly, to pack more people in, higher density. The layout is maybe a bit less picturesque than the West.
So the West was seen as more prestigious back then.
Yeah, definitely. But the East is still fascinating. And crucially, you can explore the East Cemetery independently. You just pay an entrance fee.
Okay, and that's where Karl Marx is buried.
That's the one. His famous tomb is in the East. And it's worth remembering, both sides are still active cemeteries today. People are still being buried there. Altogether, you're looking at about 170,000 people in roughly 53,000 graves, spread over 15 hectares. And the rules are pretty straightforward for visitors on both sides. Stick to the paths, keep things peaceful, and definitely don't sit or climb on the monuments. Seems obvious, but worth saying.
Okay, this is where it gets really fascinating for me. Highgate isn't just about the architecture, the nature. It's about the people buried there. Just an incredible cross-section. I mean, you look at the list. Radical thinkers next to industrialists, artists next to boxers. It really makes you think about who gets remembered, doesn't it? There are over 850 notable people listed. What stories really jump out?
Oh, it's an amazing list. Starting in the East Cemetery, the most famous, no question, is Karl Marx, the philosopher, economist. Das Kapital, Communist Manifesto. His tomb is massive, great eye listed, big bust on top. Workers of all lands unite inscribed. It's a major pilgrimage site.
And controversial too, right? Weren't there attempts to bomb it?
Yeah, back in 1965 and again in 1970. Shows you how potent that symbolism still is, I suppose.
Wow. But it's not all, heavy political figures. Also in the East, you've got Douglas Adams.
That's right. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy author. His grave is much simpler, just a headstone. But it's famous for the pot of pens that visitors leave. A really lovely, quirky tribute from fans.
I like that. And Malcolm McLaren, the punk guy, Sex Pistols manager.
He's there too. His headstone is very him. Got a bust of himself and the inscription, "Better a spectacular failure than a benign success."
That sounds about right. Very punk.
Definitely. Then there's Claudia Jones, Trinidadian-born journalist, activist, founder of the West Indian Gazette, and, incredibly, the Notting Hill Carnival. Her gravestone sums it up. Valiant fighter against racism and imperialism, talks about her dedication to socialism and liberating Black people. Really powerful.
What a legacy.
And for artistic flair, Patrick Caulfield, the pop art painter, he designed his own tombstone, just cut out letters spelling dead.
No way, just dead.
Just dead. Very direct, very pop art, I guess.
Okay, shifting over to the West Cemetery then.
Yeah.
The variety continues. George Michael is there.
Yes, the singer-songwriter. His grave is in a private family plot shared with his mother and sister. It's a simple marble slab with his birth name. And the trust asks visitors specifically not to leave tributes or take photos there, to respect the family's privacy.
Understood. Very different vibe from, say, Michael Faraday, the scientist.
Completely different. Faraday, the chemist and physicist, huge influence on electrical engineering.
Yeah.
He's in a very modest grave with his wife, quite understated for such a giant figure.
Then you get someone like Tom Sayers.
Ah, the boxer. Famous bare-knuckle fighter. His tomb is quite something. It has a life-size sculpture of his dog, his Mastiff Lion.
His dog. Really?
Yeah, apparently Lion was the chief mourner at his funeral. So the dog's immortalized there on the tomb.
That's brilliant. And there's another animal connection too, right? George Woonwell.
That's him, the menagerie owner.
Right.
Ran traveling circuses and animal shows in the 19th century. His tomb features a big sculpture of his lion, Nero.
So you've got lions, dogs. What else? How about pure extravagance?
For that, you look at Julius Beer. German-born businessman, owned the Observer newspaper. His family mausoleum is, well, it's huge. Grade 2nd listed. Inspired by the mausoleum of Halicarnassus, one of the ancient wonders, seriously grand.
Gives you a sense of that Victorian wealth and status.
Absolutely. And the cemetery also reflects what some call its humanist heritage. People like George Eliot, the novelist, Herbert Spencer, who coined survival of the fittest.
Right.
Ernestine Rose, feminist, abolitionist, atheist, quite radical for the time. And William Kingdon Clifford, mathematician, philosopher. His epitaph is incredible. I was not, and was conceived. I loved and did a little work. I am not, and grieve not.
Wow. I am not, and grieve not. That really makes you stop and think.
It really does. And just to add, amidst all these individuals, there were also 318 Commonwealth War graves from both World Wars, a different kind of memorial altogether.
So Highgate's story isn't just about unbroken glory, is it? After the turn of the century, and especially after World War II, things went downhill. It got really overgrown, neglected. Sources say in serious disrepair. People weren't so interested in those huge, elaborate funerals anymore, and cremation got more popular, cheaper.
Yeah, the whole culture around death was changing, and the cemetery just couldn't sustain itself financially. It entered this period of quite serious decline, and that's when things got, well, a bit weird, or intriguing, depending on your view, the 60s and 70s.
Oh, Highgate Vampire.
Exactly. It developed this reputation, this almost cult status, tied to eerie legends, rumors of supernatural sightings, this vampire figure. It attracted all sorts, curiosity seekers, occultists. People actually organized vampire hunts.
Seriously? Vampire hunts?
Oh, yes. It became quite a media sensation for a while. And of course, that spooky, overgrown atmosphere was perfect for horror films. Hammer Horror used it a lot.
Like Taste the Blood of Dracula.
That kind of thing, yes. Tales from the Crypt, too. It became the Gothic film set for a while.
But it wasn't all decay and ghost stories, thankfully. There was a fight back, right? A rescue mission.
There was indeed. A really pivotal moment came in 1975. This group called the Friends of Highgate Cemetery Trust was set up. Led by Jean Pateman, she got an MBE for it later, and basically run by volunteers.
So what did they do? How did they save it?
They literally saved it. They started tackling the maintenance, the vandalism, and crucially, they managed to raise the funds to actually buy the freehold. They took ownership of both the east and west sides by 1981.
Wow, that's a huge achievement for a volunteer group.
Incredible. And their work is ongoing, restoring monuments. They restored the chapel interior beautifully back in 2011, reopened it for funerals, restored the South Lodge. It's thanks to them, really, that English Heritage designated it a Grade I park. Huge recognition.
And that leads us to what Highgate is today, this amazing dual identity. It's this incredibly important historical site, but it's also thriving as a nature reserve. The sources talk about mature trees, wildflowers, lots growing wild without anyone planting them.
Exactly. It's become this fantastic urban haven for wildlife. Birds, foxes, other small mammals. It's a proper ecosystem nestled amongst the tombs. And that romantic profusion, as one writer called it, nature weaving itself around the Victorian architecture that's key to its unique atmosphere now, it's hauntingly beautiful.
Yeah.
It attracts nature lovers just as much as history buffs. It's this fascinating example of how places change, how nature reclaims things, how even a cemetery can become a living landscape, and how maybe, just maybe, a spooky legend helped save it in a weird way by keeping it in the public eye.
Huh, maybe. So what does this all mean then? Beyond the history, the ghosts, the nature, Highgate is really stuck in popular culture too, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We mentioned the horror films from the 70s, Taste the Blood of Dracula, Tales from the Crypt. They really use that gothic vibe. But it goes beyond horror. It gets referenced in John Galsworthy's Forsyte saga novels, much more literary.
Right.
And Audrey Niffenegger's novel, Her Fearful Symmetry, from 2009, it's basically set in Highgate Cemetery. She even worked as a tour guide there while researching, apparently, to really soak it up.
Now that's dedication.
Isn't it? And more recently, Tracy Chevalier's Falling Angels mentions it, and Robert Galbraith, J.K. Rowling, her book The Ink Black Heart from 2022, features it quite prominently, too.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And even in alternative history, Len Deighton's SSGB, where the Nazis occupy Britain, Karl Marx's tomb plays a role in that story, too.
So it just keeps inspiring people. That mix of Victorian grandeur, Gothic decay, nature taking over.
Exactly. It's got so many layers. It seems to be this endlessly fascinating place for writers and filmmakers. It proves that even a place of rest can be full of stories, still generating new ones.
What an incredible place. We've really covered some ground today, haven't we? From its origins solving London's burial crisis
The Magnificent Seven.
to the differences between East and West, all those amazing people buried there, the decline, the vampire scare.
And the amazing rescue by the Friends.
Right, and how it's ended up in films and books. It really is like a whole sweep of history and human stories packed into one place.
Yeah, and if you think about the bigger picture, Highgate really shows us a lot. How we deal with death as a society, how public spaces change over time, and how legacy works, doesn't it? Whether it's someone famous or not, their mark persists in these monuments, but also in how nature kind of embraces it all. It connects the past to the living world right now.
That's a great way to put it. So maybe the next time you think about a cemetery, you won't just see rows of stones. Maybe you'll see a living landscape full of stories, full of surprising beauty. What really stands out to you about Highgate after hearing all this? And what other hidden histories might be lurking just under the surface in places we walk past every day? Something to think about. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.